Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Barb Fox, and today I want to talk to you about some common equine skin ailments, especially during the summertime. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. So hang with me for just a second. All right. So like I said, I'm Dr. Barb Fox. I'm a holistic veterinarian in Northeast Iowa, and I do online consulting work with people who want a natural approach to their animals' health. So my best way to contact me is by my phone, which is 563-380-0983, or by email, which is drb, like Dr. B, Fox, Fox, @yahoo.com. So let's start with talking about something very common that most of horse owners have experienced in their lifetime. If you've been around horses for a while, you're going to see this condition called scratches, or the scientific name would be pastern dermatitis. Some people call it greasy heel, mud poisoning, or even cracked heels because it can involve different areas of the foot, including the pastern, sometimes up into the fetlock, and even into the heel bulbs and the sulcus in the heel, between the heel bulbs. So scratches are caused from a bacteria or a fungus that enters through breaks in the skin. And this happens a lot when we have a lot of dry, conditions, and then all of a sudden it's really, really wet, and then maybe it goes back to dry and then wet again. And the skin just takes it gets stressed. And sometimes it can cause some little breaks or fissures in the skin where the bacteria and fungus can enter. So it's just kind of a nasty little thing, but fortunately it's fairly easy to remedy. How we take care of scratches is, first of all, and this is true with anything, you're going to hear me talk about supporting the immune system with diet and supplements all throughout this presentation, but I think it's really important. A horse that has a healthy immune system is not going to be prone to a lot of skin issues. So the number one thing that I do is recommend no sweet feed whatsoever. Horses do not need sweet feed. It is something that they like, and we think they have to have it to put on weight and to thrive, but actually sugar is a detrimental element to a horse's body. They just weren't designed to process sugar. And sugar turns into inflammation when it's processed in the body. So inflammation we don't need. 2 to 4 ounces of Ningsure Red daily is what I would recommend. And then either 4 capsules or 1 teaspoon of sulfurzyme. And this is an ongoing thing. Once a horse has a compromised immune system, we need to keep these things up. Topical essential oils that I would recommend would be, first of all, Melrose. Now, Melrose, I love this blend. It is a combination of rosemary and melaleuca. And then you can use the single melaleuca, tea tree is the common name for it, longevity, thieves, purification, lavender, even the raindrop technique will help support the immune system. First of all, you want to clean up the dirt and the grime from that area with either the seedlings baby wash. This is the infant baby wash and shampoo, or you can use the animal scent shampoo. A lot of times people don't think about, if we've been using Young Living for a while, we don't think about the things that are safe for children or safe for our animals. So that's why I put that in there. And once you dry that area, you've got your essential oils applied, then you want to apply the animal sense ointment, kind of to seal the oils in. It'll help keep the dirt and the grime from getting into the scratches or the little scabs and crusts. And it also helps prevent flies from getting in there. Moving on to hives and itchy bumps. We see this a lot. Unfortunately, it is a systemic problem. It is an immune system that has gone haywire. It's overworking, it's hypersensitive. And the scientific name for these bumps that you find that are really itchy, sometimes they're not so itchy, they're just more irritating to the horse. But that scientific condition is called urticaria. And the bumps, the scientific name for that is wheals, WHEALS. And common name obviously is hives, but those form in response to an allergen. And that allergen can come from bugs, especially gnats, which we call a sweet itch type of thing, pollens, molds, even plant sensitivities, food intolerances, certain medications and drugs can bring about urticaria. And rarely, but this does happen, sometimes you get a detox reaction after an acupuncture treatment or even a raindrop. And this is not a bad thing. It's undesirable. But what happens, especially I've seen this like where a horse, especially it hasn't had a raindrop before, and you apply the raindrop oils, even if you have the carrier oil on there, they can develop these little hives or bumps. And that is just simply the body's reaction to getting all of the toxins out from the inside out in a big hurry. And if the liver and the kidneys are already overwhelmed, which a lot of times in a detox situation they are, then they come out the skin. And fortunately, they go away. They don't cause any long-term problems, but just I had to put that out there because I have seen horses, including my own horses, get bumps from a raindrop. Okay. Sometimes it's really hard to figure out why your horse broke out to something. So the process of elimination may help you determine that. So if there's a fly spray that you've just purchased and all of a sudden your horse, and I'm not in favor of chemical fly sprays, but if you're one of those people who uses chemical fly sprays, then there are certain ingredients in those fly sprays that can bring on this type of presentation. So that's one thing. If you've changed feeds or you've gotten a different batch of hay and all of a sudden you've got a horse that breaks out in hives, that might be something to pay attention to. So it's just eliminating one thing at a time so you can figure out what that horse broke out to. And just like anything else, when we have a serious situation like this systemic urticaria, that support of the immune system is crucial. And like I said just a minute ago, the immune system is hypersensitive, and that's what we call a hypersensitivity reaction. And so we need to settle that immune system down in the fastest way we can. And sometimes in a severe case, of hives or urticaria, and the horse is really showing some respiratory distress or some extreme discomfort, we need to get a veterinarian out there, or get your veterinarian out there and get some steroid therapy, because this can progress to a more serious condition called anaphylactic shock, where you might notice some facial swelling or severe respiratory distress. That is an immediate emergency situation. But for the most part, we can use for the discomfort in those little wheels, we can use oils like peppermint, lavender, helichrysum, and even copaiba. And even if you don't have all of those oils, which I like to use them all together, but if you don't have them, use one, use two, use whatever you have. And those can be placed right onto that hive. And that provides some really quick relief from the discomfort and the intense itchiness. But you need to dilute it out at least 50%. Dilute those oils out 50% with a good carrier oil like your V6 oil or jojoba oil, almond oil, anything, even an extra light virgin olive oil will work. And that is to avoid irritation on that skin that's already irritated. So, some of our oils are very strong and they work very quickly, but we want to slow down that absorption so we don't get any more discomfort for our horses. Now, if you've got a really large area, sometimes those wheels can coalesce and cause a great big patch, maybe several inches long and several inches wide. If you've got a situation like that, I would be calling the veterinarian out to get some steroid injections going, but you can alleviate a lot of discomfort by putting an ice pack on that for several minutes before you apply your oils. Okay, moving on to rain rot. What is rain rot? Rain rot or rain scald is caused by a bacterium called Dermatophilus congolensis. And that is a big word, I know, but basically is kind of a opportunistic bacteria that likes to prey on skin. And most of the time we see rain rot in cool, damp conditions where there's very little sun. But on the flip side, heat and humidity on a cloudy day can also let this bacteria grow. If you've got a horse that, I mean, you've had a lot of repeated rainfalls and the coat is wet and then it gets a little dry and then it gets wet again, it can, especially like between that transition between spring and summer, where you've got some cool spring days and then we've got some cool summer days and we've got a lot of rainfall, that can make that worse. So if you've got sheets or blankets and the horse is getting wet, that can also trap that bacteria in there and allow a good breeding ground for it to grow. Horses that are old or young don't have the same type of function in their immune system that an adult horse does. So you can see in the picture, this looks like an older horse. He's kind of down in the back, and that bacteria has really taken over. And the other thing that can contribute to rain rot is insect bites. They'll just open up an area of the skin, and then the bacteria has a free range or a free pass to get in there. So how are we going to manage rain rot? Well, you know, I really like to start with shampooing those trouble areas. No need to have to give a great big bath or anything, but you can just do some spot treatments. And I really like the idea of using the Young Living bath and shower base, because there, for one thing, there's no synthetics, there are no chemicals in there, and you can add any kind of oils you want to that base. So the oils that I suggest to put in that bath and shower base for managing rain rot would be Melrose. Melrose is a great oil, stands for Melaleuca and rosemary. Purification is another fantastic oil. Again, your single Melaleucas, any species, Copaiba, and even citronella. And usually what I do with this size bottle is I put about 30 drops, maybe 40 drops of each of those oils in there, and then shake it up really good. Other oils that you can use for spot treatment would be lavender, longevity, any of the raindrop oils, but or in Copaiba, even the Kid Sense Owie, frankincense, and lemongrass. And even the Kid Sense Owie is already pre-diluted, and Copaiba is very mild, but I would still, because we have irritated skin there, dilute it 50% with your carrier oil first. And then you can use the Animal Sense ointment topically after you've applied your oils. Do that on a daily basis. And for those of people, sometimes I get people who get a little tripped up on the math. So I'm just going to put this out here. A 50% dilution is half and half. So if you have 1 drop of essential oil, you would mix that with 1 drop of your carrier oil. Or if you've got 10 drops of your essential oil, then you have 10 drops to mix with that in a carrier oil. 75% dilution is a fairly weak dilution, is 1 drop of essential oil to 4 drops of carrier oil. And then you can multiply that out for bigger ratios. And then take the sheets or the blankets off, let air get to the affected skin. That bacteria does not thrive in dry air and sunshine. Okay, summer sores, and the scientific name for this is habronemiasis. And fortunately, this is kind of a rare condition. We don't see this a lot, but I have read reports where in the last 5 to 10 years, veterinarians are seeing more of this happen. It's not what we think. I used to think of summer sores as that crustiness on the underside of the belly, but summer sores are actually caused by a worm. It's a stomach worm that causes it. There's 2 different species of worms that cause that: habronemia and then also Dracia. And those worms, once they're ingested from they come in when your horse is eating grass, or they can crawl up the legs. If your horse turns around, chews, they can swallow that worm. Larva is produced, it's pooped out, and then the horse is re-ingesting it. Or if it's grazing and the larvae are on the grass or in the pasture, then it can attach to, like see in the photo here, in the corners of the mouth. And then they burrow down into the dermis, the top layers of the skin, and then they sit there and they cause problems. They can also get a lot of times they're around the eyes, not only the lips, but the eyes also, and around the penis sheath and your geldings and stallions, and any open wound or broken skin. So that is time, if you've got any kind of broken skin and it's in the summertime, make sure you're getting your animal sense ointment and your essential oils on there to prevent the flies from getting in there worse. And again, horses with good immune systems rarely get summer sores. So you may have to, if you've got a horse with a severe case of summer sores, you may have to go ahead and deworm a couple times with your conventional dewormers. There are things that we can do, essential oils again, because we have a parasite now that's causing the skin issue. We want to think about paragize and digize, citronella, purification, lemongrass, even oregano and thyme, melaleuca, alternifolia, juniper, eucalyptus, and copaiba. Again, there are more oils on the list, but if you've got any of these oils, that's where I would have you start, and then you can extrapolate from there. For nutritional supplements, to support that immune system, to hit everything from the inside out, Nixia Red, Sulfurzyme, and they put multigreens in here because multigreens has Melissa oil in it. Excuse me, and Melissa oil is very supportive of the immune system. And one thing that I'm going to mention here is the Summit Joint Performance Skin Spray. What can I talk there? The Summit Joint Performance Skin Spray. This is something you can use for any of the conditions. And if you look at the label on here, it says for summer sores, scratches, rain rot, sweat rashes, minor cuts, abrasions, infection, any kind of dermatitis. So there's a link there to purchase this skin stuff. It is really amazing. It works within seconds. I've tried this on my own horses where they've got a little summer sore, not summer sore, but just a little abrasion from the gnats and the flies. And what this does is it's kind of a really heavy saline. There's some saline in there. And what it does is it creates a little, it looks like almost a piece of plastic over the wound. And it's crusty and flaky. And after 2 or 3 days of applying the spray, the crust will start to fall off, and underneath is really fresh healing tissue. So it is an amazing product. And again, here's the link. It's eternapure.com/Barb Fox DVM. Another good supplement for the immune support is standard process equine immune support. Now, this is a scripted product. I have to okay a script, but if you just contact me, say, I've got this issue with my horse, I need this product. They have what they call a patient direct, which means that you can set up your own account, you pay for it, it's shipped right to you. All I have to do is okay the script. So it's really convenient, and Standard Process has some very, very good products. And then for summer sores, you want a raindrop at least once a week. I start with once a week. Again, too harsh of a detox reaction can cause more skin issues. So we want to start slow and then work up. So what about thrush and white line disease? And I put that disease because it is thrush and white line is not a disease. They are symptoms of an underlying problem in the body. So why did I put thrush and white line? Why did I put hoof issues here? Isn't this a hoof issue? Actually, the hoof is a dermal structure. It is made of keratin and water. And so this comes under the same premise. We have to support the immune system, support the whole integumentary system, which is the skin. So healthy hooves are really quite resistant to thrush. If the hoof is balanced, you've got a good trimmer that can balance that foot well. Your horse is getting adequate minerals. It's not having steel or any kind of shoes or pads on it. And it's got a good immune system. It's going to be very resistant to thrush. Wet environments do enhance the development of thrush, though. So if your horse is standing in a swampy paddock, a wet pen, or especially like a urine-soaked stall, they're going to be a lot more prone to thrush. And I put the arrow here because I want to just show you a little bit about how I analyze the look and the health of this hoof. It does not look healthy to me. It's certainly got some deep crevices around the sides of the frog. But where the arrow is, there should be a little protrusion that goes like a little ridge there. That's called the bar. The horse has a bar on each side of that cleft of the frog. And you can see either the bar has been crushed down and it's non-existent, or it's been pared out by a trimmer. But I want you to appreciate the deepness of the cleft on the sides of the frog. And even in the middle, like toward the bottom of the frog, toward the bottom of the picture where that's really deep in there, that cleft is super, super deep and it extends back to the heel bulbs. This is a very bad situation because bacteria, fungus, and other pathogens could get down in there and really cause some issues. So I believe that if you have a properly balanced foot, a good trim job is paramount to keeping thrush at bay, in addition to a strong immune system. So moving on to white line disease. White line disease is usually a symptom of a separation of the white line caused by laminitis. It is not a primary hoof problem. It is an underlying metabolic issue. And like I said, the subclinical laminitis, you may not even know your horse is laminitic, maybe just a little off or a little short striding, not moving out as well. And it could be from a subclinical laminitis factor. I put the blue arrow on the white line. Now this should be a nice white line or tan line with different striations in it, but you can see it's black all the way around. And at the bottom of the photo, or toward the bottom of the photo, at the toe of the hoof, you can see you can't see it, but it's a horseshoe nail. It's showing a pocket there where horse trimmers or shoers, it's usually the farriers, not the trimmers, but they'll come around with a Dremel tool and they will dig out, like on the top of the hoof, on the front surface of it, they will dig out a section. It's called a resection technique, but they will open that up to get the infection out and get air to the bacteria and the fungus that is residing in that hoof wall. Megan Gassell from the Healing Barn Movement, she can attest to this radical procedure because she had that done on Joey when Joey was diagnosed with white line disease. And it's a very radical procedure. It takes a very long time to heal, and it is not, all it is treating a symptom. It is not getting to the root cause of the white line disease. So if it's not treated, it can result in permanent damage to the coffin bone because those vital supporting structures for P3 are damaged to the point of no return. So it is a serious situation. However, it is treatable. I put these household cleaner up here because you can never go wrong with these for either thrush or white line disease. It can be used full strength. You can apply it into the crevices of the frog, or you can apply it to the white line with a dropper or a syringe into the crevices, or you can even soak the entire foot with thieves and warm water. Melaleuca alternifolia, Melaleuca quinquenervia, two essential oils I really, really like for this type of situation. I think of the quinquenervia species as being the alternifolia type on steroids because it's very powerful. It's not always easy to find. I'm not sure if Young Living has it. I did not check before I put it up here, but if you can get the quinquenervia type from somebody, grab it and keep it in your emergency kit. Purification, lavender, manuka. Manuka, you think of manuka honey and know all the health benefits of manuka honey. Okay, that's what we're going to use in the feet too. Lemongrass, peppermint, Melrose again, eucalyptus, oregano, clove. You can apply these, like I said, right into the frog or into the white line area, but also put these oils around the coronary band because there's a huge network of small vessels and arterioles in that area, and the oils get in very quickly to the system down into the foot and do their work. After you've done the essential oils, pack those crevices, especially with your thrush area or your thrush issues, pack that with the animal sense ointment. Please don't use copper tox or any other harsh chemical products. We're trying to maintain the vital integrity and the health of the foot, and copper tox is very toxic. So are some of the other things that I've seen used. Move your horse to a drier area if you possibly can, because the feet need air. And no pads and shoes, please. And if you use any of the hoof boots or the protective boots for short periods, if you use the protective boots, use them for short periods only. We want air to get to those areas. And if you have a boot on 24/7, it's going to prevent air exchange. All right, and then if we're doing a systemic care for thrush and white line, here's what we'll do. We'll do minerals, and minerals probably should have been placed at the front of this presentation, but I put it back here because we're thinking about hoof health and how to support that. So Rush Creek 1-to-1 mineral is a very good mineral. It is a free choice mineral. Does not contain salt. Now, why I like the Rush Creek 1-to-1 loose mineral is because if a horse needs a mineral, they can pick and choose how much they want. If you just supplement it right into their feed, they do not have a choice, and the horses know what they need. They intuitively, innately know what they need. The reason there is no salt in here, because sometimes a horse needs salt and they do not particularly need other minerals at that time. Other times it's vice versa. So we let the horse choose and pick what they want. If your horse has shoes and you are convinced that your horse cannot go without shoes because your veterinarian or your farrier has told you otherwise, please do some research and get those shoes off. Check out the Barefoot Horse Magazine on Facebook. They're a group there that they have tremendous information. They've got a lot of photos. They've got testimonials from people who have had horrific problems with their horse's feet and they're doing well now. And then I believe that Megan also on the Healing Barn movement, she's got some good information on the Healing Barn and going barefoot as well. Eliminate sweet feeds, excess treats, and lush pastures, because again, we're looking at systemic support, and anything that goes in our horse is going to come out, or it's going to affect different organ systems, and we don't need a metabolic horse. No horse, like I said earlier in the presentation, no horse needs sweet feeds. And then I'm going to put my foot in my mouth here. I'm not saying not to vaccinate, but I'm going to say pick and choose your vaccines very carefully and do not over vaccinate. There are some wonderful tests out there that you can have your veterinarian come out, draw a sample of blood. They can run that for antibodies. These are called titer tests, and they check for antibodies against the disease that you're vaccinating for. For example, if you're not sure if you should do West Nile, if your horse has been vaccinated for the last 6 years, twice a year for West Nile, why vaccinate again without doing a titer? Do a titer first so that you're not putting more vaccines in your horse. Vaccines are meant to take care of your horse's health, but oftentimes with the other ingredients that are added to vaccines, like preservatives, adjuvants, which include heavy metals and some other deleterious things in there, we can have a cumulative effect from those things that cause issues in your horse down the road. So vaccines are, like I said, not a bad thing. However, I'll give you an example. I have 2 horses. They're not used for anything. They don't travel anymore. We don't have any horses coming in or out. I give them organic food. They get Ningxia Red and they get sulfurzyme. They also get sea salt. It's called C90, which is a mineral supplement. They get the Rush Creek 1-to-1. They get some really good hay. Their immune systems are top notch. And I have not vaccinated either one I've had Chaser for 8 years now. He was a show horse. He had a boatload of vaccines when he was younger. I'm not going to vaccinate him again unless something drastic happens where maybe he would need a tetanus booster or we'd have an outbreak of a certain disease in the area. Chaser's 34 and a half. He's had a lot of vaccines in the past. I've had him for 17 years now. And the only vaccine he's had is tetanus when he tried to rip his front leg off. And he's done very well. But again, I would encourage your veterinarian or talk to your veterinarian about informed consent. Sit down and find out which vaccines he or she recommends. Look at the dangers, look at the adjuvants. These are the strengthening agents in the vaccines that they're used to, like I said, create a stronger immune response when they're injected, but there are side effects to vaccines. So that's just my little thing. I could go on for a couple hours about that, but we won't do that here today. And then common sense things, eliminate chemicals whenever you can, including chemical insect sprays, fungicides, pesticides, anything else, garden sprays. If you're spraying for thistles, 2,4-D is toxic, so is glyphosate, that's Roundup. Use mechanical means whenever you can to control your weeds. Okay, that is all I have for today, and I thank you so much for watching. I would encourage you to check out my website, which is it's barbfoxdvm.com. I am in the process of rebooting my website, so there's not a lot of content as far as articles and information, but I do have 3 courses on essential oils for dogs. 3 of those. One is for essential use in dogs. One is essential use in cats, and one is essential use in horses. Kind of like a basic 101. So if somebody is really hesitant or don't know how to apply essential oils or what oils would work for what, those online courses are great. I also have 2 courses on pet nutrition there. One is very extensive. One is more like a video course of how to make your own food. And then I do have a mini course on vaccines. Are they your animal's friend or foe? And I go through vaccine reactions in a lot more detail than I talked about here. So that is a mini course, and those are available on my website. Again, it's barbfoxdvm.com. Also on my website, if you go at the top and hit all courses, there's a link that will take you to my coaching sessions. And these are online and telephone consultations that I do. They're private, one-on-one, comprehensive consultations when you're looking for a second opinion, or you want a natural approach and you don't have any idea how to start, especially if you have an animal with a really chronic disease. A lot of times we need to integrate regular medicine with holistic medicine. And so this is a service that is a lot of my practice now, where I do consulting work. So anyway, I appreciate you being on this call. And if you have any questions, be sure to contact me. You can contact me at my email is DRB, like Dr. B, Fox, Fox at yahoo.com. And then when Megan shares this on the Healing Barn Movement, you can also put comments in there, or she can contact me if you have a question that needs answered. So again, thank you so much.